20 explicit cautions regarding Camilla were documented by Princess Diana, documented directions, not sentiments or suspicions. At the 2023 coronation, William performed number 15 in front of 20,000 spectators. The audience had no idea what they were witnessing. I will demonstrate how Diana personally gave William these cautions prior to her passing. William's current position of power is precisely due to the men Charles recruited to delete Diana, as all 20 disclose about Camilla's true nature. How, therefore, could Diana record 20 warnings that were all accurate and traceable? And why did Camilla receive the greatest assistance from the same persons who were meant to keep her safe? Before Diana had made a single commitment, warning number 1 was already waiting for her, so let's start at the wedding. The letter on the bed is the first. She had recently moved into Clarence's home. 2 days had passed since the engagement. 20 years old, by herself in an unfamiliar building in February 1981. And a letter from Camilla Parker, B.S., was lying on her bed like a claim. A letter, not a card. What wonderful news. Let's eat lunch soon, please. Go back and read that. That lunch took place 2 days after the engagement was revealed on the bed. And Camilla had one question during that lunch. I take it you won't be hunting at High Grove. You're not welcome in the family. The horse in question stated, that house is still mine, and we both know it. Diana was 20 years old. She grabbed up a pen and left, well aware of what she was entering. The entire story is contained in that pen. Second, she witnessed it in front of 750 million people, not just felt it. The grey pillbox hat is number 2. July 29, 1981, Paul's Cathedral, 750 million viewers. Diana is in the carriage, that outfit. She noticed Camilla standing on the way among the crowd, wearing a white veil and a soft grey pillbox hat that Charles had given her on his own wedding day. Diana summed it up for Morton in one word: absurd. Not heartbroken, not depressed, not absurd. Diana already knew after that carriage journey. She determined, I'm not going to pretend I don't see this, as she sat there and observed the woman in the crowd. That woman never allowed them to deceive her about the truth. You were correct if you always thought Diana was more perceptive than they wanted you to think. This is evidence. 15 is on the way. And you'll see why what William did in May 2023 wasn't a gesture, given that you know Diana had this all out from the time she got to Clarence's residence. It was a decision. There is still time for that moment. The moniker comes in third. Diana had a moniker among Charles's social circle. Several royal biographers, including Tom Bower in Rebel Prince, have recorded Camilla's words, that mad cow. Look, 2 well-chosen words. Because everything a woman says about you is discredited before she even speaks if you make her sound erratic, illogical, or frantic. Diana was described as unstable in a planned campaign by the palace years later. Journalists who had most admired her were given access to official channels, clinical jargon, and borderline personality disorder. That language did not emerge on its own. In 1995, Bower recorded Camilla using it. Her own response when Diana finally revealed what had been done to her. The stain wasn't spontaneous, as you had always suspected. You were correct. And Camilla is being reminded of what she said in private. William has all of the words committed to memory. Warnings 4 through 8 are entirely different. There was never just one woman involved. It was a budget-driven machine. And it was being run by those who were meant to keep Diana safe. 4 is about to begin. Fourth, 8 years after the altercation at Annabelle's 1989, Camilla's sister's birthday celebration, Camilla and Charles vanished. Diana went in search of them. Standing in front of Camilla in a room full of his people, his entourage, she said something that Royal Protection Officer Ken Ward revealed to ITV on camera. I am fully aware of the situation between you and Charles, Camilla. Please don't treat me like a fool, even though I am clearly in the way. She left. In that room, consider the calculation. Despite the fact that everyone there was loyal to Charles, Diana stated it aloud in front of witnesses. She stopped waiting for someone to step in after Annabelle's. For the son who would inherit all of this, She began compiling a file with every name and date. The confrontation turned into a file. She gave William all of the names in it 6 years later. The Eton talk is number 5. September of 1995. William begins his career at Eton. Before he left, Diana gave him the complete record. Every name was verified and every incident was dated. We know because William talked about the loneliness, anxiety, and paranoia I recall from those last years, 26 years later. Until someone records anything for you, you are unable to recall it exactly. She could have protected him. Instead, she armed him. She gave him weapons. However, what followed indicates that they had already loaded the firearm intended to stop him. The Palace slander campaign comes up at number 6. 1992, Morton's book was published. There was no denying Diana's public support. The marriage was not discussed by the palace. It was aimed at her brain. Ken Ward, a royal protection officer, made the public confirmation. Spin doctors at St. James Palace launched a concerted effort to successfully erase Diana from history. When the term borderline started to appear frequently enough, it started to sound medical. Official, verified, it wasn't. It was a strategy. They treat women who are uncontrollable in this way. Give it a name, then make it memorable. After the name is made public, the woman devotes more of her attention to protecting her sanity than to speaking the truth. Here's what Camilla is currently paying for it. William observed every action during that campaign. Every name that ran it was handed to him. Additionally, he chooses whatever version of the regal tale is told as soon as he ascends to the throne. Which version that won't be is already known to you. Rumor was the basis for the smear. It changed to forgery at warning 7. The fake bank statements come in at number 7. Martin Basher intervened. He displayed fake bank statements from Earl Spencer, Diana's brother. Falsified records alleging royal employees were compensated to spy on Diana. Spencer informed Diana that her anxiety increased. Panorama was accepted by her. According to the 2021 Dyson report, Basher seriously violated BBC editorial guidelines by acting dishonestly. William said that his mother's statements on video were significantly impacted by such lies. The world still uses manufactured fear to obtain quotes from the interview. They did more than just disparage her. First, they created fear. Then they cited the terror as proof. You were always aware that the interview didn't feel right. Diana seems scared rather than courageous. You now understand why. 15 is still in the lead. The coordinated operation, the labels, and the forgeries were all verified. You'll see why William's actions during the 2023 coronation were among his most accurate. The call to Camilla comes next, number 8. Paris, August 31, 1997. Diana had vanished. Charles was already talking to Camilla on the phone while the boys slept at Balmoral. Christopher Anderson used accounts from palace staff to document this. What will happen to us now, my love? These individuals are like that. She hadn't been gone for an hour. William was 15 years old. Someone in that building was already making the call, and he had just lost his mother. Diana had informed him that the institution always prioritizes its own existence over everything, including pain. To help him notice it, she told him. Since then, every action has been based on that realization. The machine's initial actions are discussed in the next 4. Within 60 minutes of her passing, there was a meeting, a plan, a covert lunch, and a second call that no one talked about. 12 months after the death meeting, number 9, her boys are still dressed in black. Diana's erasure operation had already been organized. High Grove for a meeting. The person tasked with repairing Charles's reputation was his deputy private secretary, Charles Camilla Mark Balland. An official goal that is funded, allocated, and resourced. The precise terminology was recorded in Tom Bower's 2018 book Rebel Prince. The goal was to depict Diana as a manipulative hysteric and drastically alter her image in order to death ease her. Not a budget, a consultant, a fresh chapter, or a brief. Targeting a deceased mother in black when her sons were still asleep. You weren't mistaken if your gut told you Camilla's recovery was too planned to be natural. This is the meeting. This is the year, that's 9. Her reputation was not the goal of the subsequent one. It was directed at her kids. The made-up Tiggy tale is number 10. Forgeries weren't the only thing Basher did. He revealed to Diana that the nanny for her kids had been secretly expecting Charles. Completely made up, intended to cast suspicion on the one person Diana's boys trusted rather than her reputation or her kids. Consider what that aims to achieve. According to the Dyson investigation, BBC workers made obscene and untrue statements that directly fueled her anxieties. Williams did not characterize his mother as paranoid in his 2021 statement. Diana had informed him exactly how it was constructed, so he explained what had been designed to make her look that way. You'll see William stand in front of a camera by himself soon, warning 18, and call out the BBC specifically. His name appears on every word without any annotations. First, though, 11. No one ever names the fourth person at that table. Quit. Take a look at the 10 warnings that were just verified. A letter prior to the vow. Camilla is traveling to get married. Charles's decision. A coordinated smear. An interview that was forged. A public relations call within 60 minutes of her passing. It's only halfway. Diana created William to respond to each and every one of the next 10. 11. The Mandelson Rehabilitation Approach. May of 1997. Charles had already arrived at Highgrove to arrange Diana's successor while she was still alive. A covert lunch in Highgrove. Charles, Camilla Balland, and Peter Mandelson, one of Britain's most influential spin doctors at the time and Tony Blair's main image advisor. Camilla is acceptable as a potential queen because of the agenda. Even before Diana passed away, there was a push underway to replace her. Diana learned of it. She revealed all the names to William. She also assured him that Camilla's status would always be protected. Always. This is when number 15 takes on a completely other meaning. Diana had just witnessed, while Camilla was still alive, a government-level operation carried out in her honor. Every motion, every pattern, every name had been given to William by her. He used all of that on camera in front of 20,000 people, and the result was warning 15. It will happen in a matter of seconds. The second phone call, number 12. Within 60 minutes of Diana's death being confirmed, there is a second call that hardly anyone discusses. Christopher Anderson documented the experiences of palace employees. Charles had already called his public relations representative, Balland, to inquire about how to handle the public response. It had only been an hour since she left. It was still early in the morning. The machine was in operation already. Diana advised William to be filled with clarity rather than resentment. Make a new decision when it's your turn. And in all you are about to witness, he has been making different decisions. William has been using a documented case that was given to him by Ballands's coordinated effort, the BBC, and the persons tasked with protecting Diana Palace spin doctors. She instilled in him the ability to employ 13 through 17. Let's start with number 13. Before they could load the weapon they had made to silence Diana, William snatched it and aimed it back. She had been unstable and on the edge of such designations her entire life. She cautioned him since she was aware of what they did. People's beliefs are controlled by whoever names it first. William started heads together in 2016, putting mental health at the forefront of the Wales family's public work, not after a crisis, but before one. Their fingers were still groping for the weapon when he removed it from their grasp. "Don't let them do to you what they did to me," she said to him. He forbade them. That's 13. The inheritance turns into a living act at 14. 14. Take charge of people's emotions. 2025's most potent royal moment took place outside of a palace. William's 12-year-old son was standing in front of his grandmother's writings at a homeless shelter when it happened. December of 2025. 32 years later, George signed the visitor's book on the same page that Diana and little William had signed in 1993. William accompanied 12-year-old Prince George to the Passage, the same homeless shelter in Victoria, London, where Diana had first visited William in 1993. Wow, same book, same page, same message, carried from a mother through a father to a son, he remarked as he examined his grandmother's handwriting. This is the time if you ever think that Diana's effect on William was genuine and not just a story from the past. 27 years have passed since that moment, which was 15. And now you understand, this was never just history, it was preparation. Every warning Diana wrote, every name she recorded, every pattern she exposed was never meant to stay buried in the past. It was meant for one person, William, because what she left behind wasn't just truth, it was a blueprint, a way to see through the noise, a way to recognize the machine before it starts moving. And when the moment finally came, he didn't react, he was executed. Number 15 wasn't emotion, it wasn't symbolism, it was precision, a message delivered in plain sight to the people who knew exactly what it meant. Because power in the monarchy has never been about what's said publicly, it's about what's understood privately. And for the first time in a generation, someone inside the system understands it completely. So the real question isn't what Diana knew, it's what William will do next. Because if he's already begun answering those warnings, then this isn't the end of her story, it's the continuation of it. And this time, the outcome might be very different. So what do you think? Was this justice decades in the making, or the beginning of a deeper shift inside the monarchy? Let me know your thoughts. And if you want to follow every layer of this story as it unfolds, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications.